So first of all, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this session. Thank you for attending. My name is Bárbara Lancho Barrantes, and I am leading the Raising Research Visibility service. And today, together with my colleague Kerstin McDermott, who is an expert in open access and EndNote, we are going to present this webinar. The title of the session is Increase Research Visibility of the Research. So, well, the learning outcomes of the session, as probably already you know, is understand the importance of increase the visibility of your research. What is important? All the session is around this principle, to increase visibility. And discover ways to promote yourself online using the different platforms. Identify tools where you can search potential collaborators in order that increase visibility on your research based on citation received or impact. Select different collaborators or topic that receiving attention in your field. So we are going to explore the different tools that you can use to select topics receiving attention in your field, and understand which is crucial to manage your data, and how data management is linked with visibility, and how keep your data and manage your data. You can receive citation of your data. So find different places of conferences or suitable places to publish. Some ideas to entitle your manuscript for successful dissemination, and in general, learn tips to raise visibility through all your stages of your research. So this is a very general session of the principal activity that we consider are crucial to increase visibility of your research. But of course, we are here after this webinar if you need more support in a specific, because this is a webinar of an hour and a half. But if you would like to know more about some specific tool or open access, or please get in touch after this webinar. So first of all, I would like that you answer this question in a couple of minutes using the chat box, how you are helping other people to know your research. I would like to know how you are helping, or how you are doing that other people know your research. Which kind of activities are you doing at the moment? Or in other words, if you are thinking on raising research visibility when you start research, or you just do your research, you don't think about visibility. Please express yourself, use the chat box to express yourself. Twitter, sharing on social media, very good, yes. I use Twitter too to update my publication. If I publish some paper, I use Twitter in order that other colleagues know that. So Twitter is good for professional sharing social media, yes, different platforms. Facebook. I never use Facebook, to be honest, but I would like to explore because I don't have a Facebook page. But yes, put a manuscript to archive. Good. Also, preprints. If you would like support with preprints, my colleague Kerstin can support you, because I think it's crucial to share the preprints for visibility. Local paper, yes. And also repositories. We are going to explain this after. So, well, but all of you know how increase visibility of your research. So we classified the different activities in 3 parts of the research. Before, when the idea comes to the researcher, during, when you are doing your research, and after. So there are some activities that you can do before your research. So get an ORCID ID, create different profiles in platforms, select topics and collaborators, and manage your data. So during your research, you can attend to different conferences, use social media to talk about your research, and choose journals to reach a broader audience. So also you can focus on entitle your paper and use keywords in order to increase your visibility and be consistent with your name through all your career, your name and your institution. So, and after your research, deposit your manuscript on repositories, on web pages, or share your conferences slides, deposit your research data, consider, well, the different activities. We are going to explain all of them in more detail in this webinar. So, but this is a structure of we classify the different activities in the different stages of your research. So, visibility should be present in all the stages of your research, from the beginning, during, and after. Because if you don't think about visibility from the beginning, when the research is done, so you can, yes, you can put your research in all the different platforms, but if you don't select your collaborator properly, you don't select the topics, you don't select a suitable journal. So after all, so yes, you can increase visibility, but not higher than if you do all the activity from the beginning. So we are working under the principle, our premise is that your high quality research deserves as much attention as possible. So we are aware that your research is of the high quality. So for that, it deserves be visible, get attention from others, and receive impact. So for that, we are working to help you, that you receive that as much attention as possible. Why research visibility is important? First of all, to promote your research, to reach a wider audience, foster networking and collaboration, attract feedback from other researchers, and increase your impact and your citation. So this is the last part of the journey. So increase impact, citation. So again, visibility should be present through all stages of your research, from the beginning, during, and after. So yes, visibility is with you all the journey, not just at the end. So we are going to focus on the first part before, in the activities, get an ORCID, create online profiles, select topics,
consider collaboration. We are going to explain all of them in detail. So first of all, how many of you have an ORCID ID at the moment? You can express yourself using. So I am going to share my screen to show. Well, the majority of you have an ORCID ID. Yes, an ORCID ID, well, to refresh the knowledge, because you know what is a ORCID ID. But ORCID ID is an identifier. It's an identifier that is let you to distinguish from others, and is connected with different databases such as Web of Science, Scopus. So you can harvest your ORCID ID from the different databases, and also ORCID ID is connected with journals. So sometimes when you are submitted a paper, the journal, one of the requirements to submit a paper is to have an ORCID ID. So ORCID ID is free, any cost. So and it's a good way to when you are doing an application, it's good to have an ORCID ID because people can see your publication and your story of the different words, different roles that you have. And I am going to show my to share my screen to show because we have in the library, if you know this web page, but in our web page of the library, we have a lot of information about research visibility, open access, EndNote, research bibliometrics, data management. But one of the parts of in our web page, library web page, is about ORCID. It's under increased research visibility because research visibility is the umbrella service that other service belong to the main one that is there. So ORCID, this is the web page, explain what is an ORCID, and if you click in the website of ORCID, I know that the majority of you know what is an ORCID, but just to refresh, if you, I'm going to share myself. So this is me. So again, my qualification, my works. So also, if I review some papers, they connect with that. So it's important for visibility have an ORCID, but also keep them updated. Not just because I found several times ORCID ID of people, but empty. No, you should have an ORCID ID, but updated. And another activity is create different profile in different platforms. We chose the example of the professor Anna Madil because we consider it's a good example because she has different profiles in in all the different platforms, and all of them are updated. So it's a good example to show you how create and how share a publication using the different platforms. So the first one is ResearchGate. I'm going to share my screen again to show you the sample of Professor Anna Madil. So this is ResearchGate. I don't know if you are familiar with ResearchGate, but ResearchGate is another platform for researchers. It's free, so you can create your profile and upload your publication, and also they ResearchGate found your citation, so you can have in ResearchGate scores. You can have the number of citations that you receive, so the impact of your research. So, and you can use ResearchGate to speak with other researchers, and also create questions and start conversation. So this is a good tool. This is the profile of Professor Anna Madil. As you can see, the total research interest of her works, the citation received, the reads, the different. It's a very good tool, because when you upload a publication, you can see the number of people that read your publication and recommend your publication. So reads and recommendation is the first step, probably to receive potential citation, because probably these people that are reading at the moment could cite you in future. So ResearchGate is a good tool. Another tool is academia.edu. This is the profile of Anna Madil in academia. So again, it's a tool to harvest your publication, different. And academia.edu is I like, because when someone search your name on Google and press in academia.edu, you automatically receive an email saying that someone from from a city in a specific country saw your profile in academia.edu. So you can track how many people are reading or are searching you on Google. So it's quite, I really like, because you can create stats of how many people from United States see your profile, or from other countries. So it's a very good. So the third one is Google Scholar. Google Scholar is a database. The same is for free, so you can sign in here, create your profile, and update your publication. And as a database, it can find your citation from other papers. So this is the publication of the Professor Anna Madil in Google Scholar, and this is the citation. If you click here, you can see the publication which are citing the publication of Anna Madil. So this is the citation to the publication of Anna Madil. So you can order by year, and you can see here the metrics, the citation received, the H index of Google Scholar, and this is a trend you can see as to analyze. And again, it's a very good way to increase visibility, because when someone type your name on Google, all of these profiles are going to appear in their searches. So it's good that your name is online as much as possible. So as you mentioned before, Professor Anna Madil has Twitter. So it's a good way to talk with other colleagues, to share your interests, and also to share your latest publication with other colleagues. And LinkedIn is another tool that you can use to share your publication and your experience. So I know that there is not enough time to have all because I know the life of a researcher is very busy, but you have to take some time to dedicate to update this tool because they are very useful. They trust me, because thanks to that you can increase your visibility. So, well, in a couple of minutes, I would like that you answer these couple of questions in using the chat box. Which kind of methods do you use to find research topics? And how do you select collaborators? Which kind of methods do you use to find research topics? Because we mentioned before that topics and collaborators are crucial for visibility, because under your area could be some topics that are receiving more attention in terms of citation, in terms of impact. And the same for collaborators. Under your research area, some collaborators receive more citation than others. So if you, for example, if an idea comes to you and you would like to collaborate with someone, you can use the different tools to say, okay, this is my idea. I would like to collaborate with this person. I am going to use the tool to know if this person is receiving attention in the field or no, or probably it's better that I collaborate with others that receive more citation, more impact. So we can use the different tools that we have at the moment available at the university to select, to make decisions in terms of impact. So which kind of method? Wow, yes. So I'm going to show Saibal now, but Singh has experience using topics in Saibal. Good. So I'm going to show that. And also you can use Scopus. But when we are delivering the session for PGRs, I show them how select topics using Scopus, because I think Saibal is more advanced, and but researchers, proper senior researcher or professor, can use also Scopus to select collaborators. If you would like some support using, yes, I know. Well, but if you, this is a general session, but if you would like support using Saibal or Scopus, please get in touch after this session, because I know that this is a world, many things to take into account. So, well, yes, as Singh already said, we can search topics using Saibal. So Saibal is an analytical tool. The owner is Elsevier. So it's not for free. It's a tool that costs a lot of money. the license is based on the data of Scopus, so you can analyze data that is already in Scopus, not, for example, in another databases. For example, if you publish a paper in a journal that just belongs to Web of Science or other database, but not in Scopus, you cannot analyze in Ceibal this publication, because the publication in Ceibal is from Scopus, because it's the same company. So I am going to share my screen. So this is the library homepage. If you type here Ceibal in the main box, go to Ceibal. You need to authenticate if you are outside the university. As you belong to the university, if you are a staff of the university or a student. This is for all the community. It's not just for the library or. Okay, this is Ceibal. The main modules in Ceibal are 3: overview, benchmarking, and collaboration. There are others, but at the moment, the university just has the 3, the main one: overview, benchmarking, and collaboration. The overview, you can analyze in Ceibal. This is a very brief approach, because we have a session just focused on Ceibal. I think in 15 December or 17. It's in one of those days. We have a session just focused on Ceibal. So I encourage you to book a place in this session, because we are going just focus on Ceibal. But in this session, it's just a very brief approach to Ceibal. So okay, there are three modules. The first one, you can analyze entities in Ceibal using overview, benchmarking to compare with others, or the module of collaboration. So for our purpose today, to analyze topics, we go to overview, and this is the University of Leeds, the publication of the University of Leeds in this period of time. So if you would like to know, for example, if you are a researcher from biochemistry, you click on biochemistry and click on topics. So I'm going to explain it. Okay, topic prominence in science are ranked by prominence. It's an indicator of the momentum of a particular field. A topic is a collection of documents with a common focused intellectual interest. So there is a correlation between the prominence, the momentum of a particular topic, and the amount of funding per author within that topic. So these topics are related to funding. So prominence is a proxy for funding, which analyze past funding patterns to predict future funding opportunities. So the higher the prominence percentiles, this one, the more it is a focus area in your field. So if you click in University of Leeds, this is the topics that the publication of the University of Leeds are publishing in this percentile. But imagine that you would like to analyze topics in general, not the University of Leeds. You would like to know the topics in general. So you can click here and you can type word. you type world here, and imagine that you are a researcher of biochemistry. So you select biochemistry. You also can select a specific area under biochemistry. For example, if you are a cell biology or endocrinology, so you can select a specific area under biochemistry. But I am going to analyze the main one, biochemistry, the general one. So in the period of time of 2014 to 2020. So the topics are ranked by prominence percentile. As I said before, the higher the prominence percentiles, the more is the focus area. So you can, a number of 308 topic cluster under biochemistry. You can order by prominence percentile to see what is the highest prominence in this area. This is the topic cluster, and this is the outputs. So you can click here and you can analyze the publication under this topic, and you can see what is the area, what is the sources, what is the journal that are publishing in this topic. You can see the countries under. What is the country? China is the country that published the most in this topic. After China is United States. So this is a spider web. You click in China, you can analyze just the publication in this topic just of China, and you can see the authors in China. So you can explore the author too, as you can analyze the impact of the authors. So this is in general, but you can select, for example, top one. This is the best of the best, the top one of the worldwide topic. So these three under biochemistry are the most that are receiving attention, receiving a citation in this area, in this particular area. You can see here useful picture that the topics are concentrated in the area of medicine, on biochemistry, and also chemistry. So, or if you prefer less, when you type top 25, so all belong this percentile are in this area. And you can also analyze this. This is the topic of, you prefer, for example, the topic in United Kingdom, you can analyze which topics probably has a coincidence of the world or not. Probably the topics in the United Kingdom are attracting more interest than the topic in the worldwide. So you can explore a specific nation or worldwide, or a specific university, if you would like, or a group of countries, or a group of universities. You can analyze everything that you want with Ceibal. So I don't know if you have any questions at the moment about this. So again, in Ceibal, there is a module called collaboration. So if you can click here, you can analyze the collaborations. In this module, just you can analyze the collaboration of the institution or group of institution, or researcher or group of researcher, or specific countries, but no more. So countries, institution, and researchers. So imagine that you would like to analyze the potential collaboration in the United Kingdom from the area of, chemistry. This is the current collaborators at the moment. And this is the potential collaborators in chemistry. So you can see, if you click in table, you can see the countries that are potential collaborators in chemistry for the United Kingdom. So you can see the impact, the field weighted citation impact, in order to select, for example, if you are a researcher from chemistry and say, okay, Honduras, 22 scholarly output, but the publication of this is higher than others. So I'm going to explore this. And you can explore the publication of this area. And also, if you can analyze, for example, your own collaborators. I'm going to use myself. Okay, so no, because I am not of chemistry. So this is my so you can analyze this. This is my collaboration. And also, if you perform a group of people, you can analyze in more detail. But if you click, for example, in the University of Leeds, the same. This is the current collaboration of the University of Leeds at the moment in all areas. But if you select medicine, for example, medicine, you can see the current collaboration at the University of Leeds at the moment, and also the potential collaboration in terms of impact. So the database analyzes the current collaboration and the patterns of this collaboration and match with the same kind of collaboration in future. And they found similar publications, similar areas to give advice to publish in future. So this is the institute not yet collaborated with the university, but they are very similar. So they are potential to collaborate. So you can explore this. And also in other topics, you can analyze collaboration too. But this module is just focused on collaboration, so it's quite useful. So but again, we are going to deliver a session in the week of December 14. This week, we are going to deliver a session just focused on Ceibal. So I invite you to come along to the session. Well, the last activity in the first part of increasing visibility is plan your data management. So if you are doing a research using data, plan your data from the beginning, because your data is valuable. So because you can use your data after your research is possible, and you can, for example, publish your data in a data journal or share your data in a repository, so your data can link with your publication, so you can receive from both sides attention from your data and also for your publication, because they are connected. And if you receive attention for your data, people can know your publication too. So it's a way to get attention from two sides at the same time. So if you are doing a research using data and it's possible to share it, please do a data management plan from the beginning, in order that you look after your data, because your data are very valuable in future and can help you to increase visibility. So yes, again, most funders now require researchers to submit a data management plan with grant application. We have in the library, we have a team. They are very expert on data management. If you would like more support of that, keep in touch with them, because they can help you how you can manage your data. So I am going to give the turn to my colleague Kerstin, and I will come back later.
Thank you, Barbara. Hello, everybody. My name is Kerstin. I just wanted to check that everybody can hear me okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, good. Okay, so we're on to the during phase of the research life cycle now. So that's when you're attending and presenting results at conferences and using social media to talk about your research and selecting journals that reach a broader audience, and thinking about writing really engaging titles for your research and adding keywords to your paper, and being really consistent with your name and your institution, which helps to increase your visibility. So presenting your research findings at conferences, I don't know whether you're aware of a good website for finding conferences. It's called All Conference Alert. I'm just going to show you that now. I'm just going to share my screen with you, so just bear with me a second. Okay, so this is All Conference Alerts, and it's a really good website for finding conferences in subject areas. So say you were an expert in infectious diseases, you want to find conferences in that area, you can just click on infectious diseases, and that will list all the current conferences globally, so you can look at conferences from all around the world. Obviously, given the current climate, a lot of conferences will be online as well, so it might be a good opportunity to go to conferences that you might not be able to ordinarily get to. So it's just to really flag this website as quite a good resource for finding conferences. So I'm just going to show you quickly ResearchGate. Instead of going back into my slides, I can just go straight into the website. It might be a bit easier. So ResearchGate, as well as a really good sort of platform of showcasing your papers, you could also use it to ask questions to the research community. So this is just an example of somebody asking about curcumin and does it contain anti-cancer properties. A researcher was just interested to know the thoughts of the research community, and he's had quite a lot of people weigh in from all around the world, giving them their point of view, and also linking to current studies in this area. So this is quite useful sometimes when you, especially at the start of research, when you might be trying to sort of gather your ideas, just to present ideas or questions to the research community. And also it helps with collaborations as well, because you might be collaborating with people from all over the world that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to be in contact with. So it's quite a nice sort of community feel. Sometimes ResearchGate, researchers helping each other. This is another aspect of it I just wanted to share with you. So just like to ask you a question, if that's okay. How do you normally find journals in which to publish? So how do you go about sort of selecting journals where you want to publish your research? So I'm just going to leave a couple of minutes so that everybody can type in the chat. Okay, great, thank you, Malanka. As seniors in the field, yeah, obviously seniors in the field have a lot of knowledge about publishing. Yeah, I think a lot of researchers do ask their peers and seniors for advice. Yep. See where the papers I read are published. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, definitely that's a really good way of establishing you know, papers in your area, because journal rankings, impact factor. Okay. Yep. Okay, so so there's some different methods there. I'm just going to hand over to Barbara because she's our expert in metrics and tools. So I'm just going to hand over to Barbara for this part.
Hello, I'm here again. So, well, we have different tools to search journals. As you mentioned, very good journal rankings and impact factors. So, there are different databases, multidisciplinary databases. Web of Science is one of them, Scopus. And you can find journals using Web of Science and Scopus, and also SCImago journal and country rank. I'm going to share my screen. Databases has their own coverage of journals. So some journals can be in Scopus and Web of Science at the same time, but sometimes a journal can be indexed in Scopus but not in Web of Science. So the citation and metrics linked to them is depend of the database. So, for example, one journal can be an impact factor, but probably other cannot have an impact factor because don't belong to Web of Science. So, well, I'm going to type here. If you use the library homepage again, and in the main box, you type journal citation reports. So this belongs to Web of Science. So click go to journal citation reports. So this is the main page of journal citation report. You can search by a specific journal if you would like to analyze the metrics of a specific journal, or you can browse by a category. For example, if you click by a category, so the journal in Web of Science in journal citation report are classified into different areas in about, I think it's 235 areas, and the journal are classified in terms of their scope. They classify in different areas. And another thing to consider is that one journal can be classified depending on the scope in different areas. So the journal impact factor is the same, but depends of the area, could be in a different quartiles of impact. So, well, so I'm going to select, for example, biology. Imagine that you are a researcher of biology and submit. So 93 journals belong to the area of biology. So if you click on the journals, so in terms of visibility, so you can explore the different metrics in order to select the most suitable journal to increase your visibility. For example, the journal that has the higher number of citation or other indicators related to impact. So the journal of biology are ordered by journal impact factor, by the highest to the lowest. So Physics of Life Reviews is the journal in biology which has the highest impact factor. The second is Biological Reviews, Current Biology, Bioscience, etc. So if you would like to know just the open access journal, you can click on open access, submit, and a number of 21 journals under this area are open access, and they order by journal impact factor. And if you would like to, I don't know if you are familiar with quartile of impact. So the way that they classify the journal into an area, and they order by the highest to the lowest by impact factor and classify in 4 parts. So the first in the first quartile are the journal that with the highest impact factor, and so on. So they classify in 4 parts the sample of the journal belong to an area. So we are going to offer in the 3rd of December webinar of bibliometrics, just bibliometrics, and we are going to explore this in more detail. And also we have a webinar called Where to Publish, that we explore this in more detail. If you would like to know more about this, please come along. Or if you prefer a meeting, but please get in touch with us. But this is very important to know how decide in which to publish and use this tool that we have available at the moment at the university is important to decide where to publish. So you can click in the first quartile of impact, and these 5 journals belong to the area of biology. They are open access and they are in the first quartile of impact. So these are very, very good. So if you would like to click on them, so you can explore the profile of the journal in Journal Citation Report. So you can read the contents, you can read the metrics associated to the journal, also explore the publications, so on. So I'm not going to give more in details because it's not the purpose of this specific webinar, but these tools are available at the moment. So the next one is Scopus sources. So the same, you type on the homepage of the library homepage Scopus. I'm going to close this. Close. Close. Oh, speed. It's slow. Sorry. Scopus. A bit sleepy, Scopus today. So this is the if he wants. Okay, this is the main page of Scopus Search, the database, but we are not going to use the database. We are going to use the feature in the database called sources. If you click on the top sources, here is the same that Journal Citation Report. You can explore the different journal belong to Scopus. If you select a specific title or subject area, for example, the journal are classified the same into different categories, and these categories are classified into different areas. So imagine that you are a researcher from engineering. You can click on engineering if you would like to know the sources behind the broad area, or if you are very researcher specific in electrical and electronic engineering and you would like to know the journal just in this specific area, you can click on electrical, and imagine that you are a researcher of electrical, but also you have a bit of, I don't know to mention, ecology. Imagine that you mix electrical with ecology, but you can apply to this, and the source will show you the journal belong to these 3 areas. So it's a number of 5,000, 6,000 of journals, sources, because it's not just journals, it's also a book series, conference proceeding, trade publication, and they are ordered by CiteScore. CiteScore is the impact factor of Scopus. Instead of 2 years, it's 4 years, the difference but it's similar. It's the journal metric of Scopus. So you can display only open access journal. If you would like to know from this sample, you would like to know open access journal and first quartile of impact, the same than before, and journals, no book series. You would like to know journals, okay? So, okay, the sample reduced because you apply a filter. So only open access journal, first quartile of impact is 127 results. So this journal belongs to these areas and ordered by site score, by the highest to the lowest. And there are other metrics here that you would like to consider. Imagine, for example, bioactive materials has highest site score than engineering, science, and technology. But if you look on the citation, you can see that the second one received 5 times more than the first one. So, and is the second in the rank of fluid, float, and this one is in the 19. So it's something that you need to consider and explore, in which so you can click all and you can download your list to analyze yourself later. So you can download this source list for your records and you can analyze after the search in which you would like to publish in order to receive attention, because not just one metric is the key, it's just others. It's not, because if you know here the site score of European Physical is lowest, but look the citation. So it's something that you need to explore, not just go for the first. Another SCIMAGO Journal and Country Rank. This is another web page. It's free. It's not necessary signing using your institutional account. It's for free. It's a web page. They use the journal from Scopus. They use the Scopus data, and they classify the journal into areas, the same in Scopus, but instead of site score, they use their own journal metric called SJR. It's a different, in Scopus you can find the same, because they are partner of Scopus, so you can find SJR in Scopus too. But SJR is the metric for SCIMAGO, and site score is the journal metric of Scopus. So again, if you are a researcher in immunology, you click on immunology, and they are ordered by the highest to the lowest SJR. So you can click here, just open as a journal, or only was a Web of Science journal. So which of this journal belong to Web of Science too? Because this is key too. If you pick a journal that belong to Web of Science and Scopus at the same time, it's better that just if the journal belongs to Web of Science, because you can increase visibility for both databases. Because if someone search your article in Scopus and you publish this article in a journal that don't belong to Scopus, this person is not going to find your paper using Scopus. And if this person wants to cite you, Scopus, it's not possible because don't belong. So in order to select journals, be a bit more strategical in order that this journal belong to the to as much as databases as possible, because you can increase more visibility of your paper. So well, again, we have other webinars if you would like to come along. So more specified in where to publish or in bibliometrics. But if you would like support, get in touch. I think it's the turn of my colleague, Casting.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, so a really great way of raising your research visibility is by publishing open access. So publishing in open access journals can really help to maximize accessibility to your work, or publishing by open access by releasing, say, your author accepted manuscript at the point of publication, just getting it out there, making sure that people can read it and access it. Major funders now require research output from funded research to be made open access, and there's a really good tool that you may be aware of called Sherpa Fact, which is a really good way of checking to see whether your journal is compliant with your funder. So I'm just going to show you that tool now. Okay, so this is Sherpa Fact. I'm just going to get a name of a journal from my notes so I can just demonstrate. So say my journal was Ames Bioengineering and my funder was Wellcome Trust. I can just choose my funder, type in my journal, and then just go to check compliance. And this shows me immediately that I cannot comply with my funder's open access policy if I were to publish in Ames Bioengineering. So immediately I know I've got to go back to the drawing board and find another suitable publication. So I'm going to go back to the drawing board, find another publication. Oops. So now I'm going to try advances in bioscience and bioengineering. Still the Wellcome Trust. I'm going to check compliance. And I can comply by archiving with this route of compliance. So that's okay. So it's whatever publications you set upon that you want to submit to. It's really important that they are complying with your funder's open access policy. Okay, I just wanted to flag with you all an initiative called Plan S. I don't know whether, has anybody heard of Plan S? So basically, Plan S is an initiative to speed up the transition to open access, whereby research is made immediately available in open access journals or on platforms. So funders have got together and they've worked together to bring about this initiative to really make research widely available as possible. The open access movement just hasn't happened as fast as funders would like, and they're obviously paying a lot to journals with article processing charges. So what they're working towards is really speeding up what they're trying to get as a reality is everything open access. They want publications published under an open license, a CC BY license, and full and immediate access at the point of publications. So funders won't pay article processing charges for hybrid journals, and those are the journals that charge both for subscription and publication costs. So they won't pay for those unless they are a part of a transformative agreement or a transformative journal leading to full open access by 2024. So the journal's got to commit to becoming fully open access by 2024. So green open access is compliant just so long as the publications are made openly available at the point of publication. Zero embargo, so you can do this by either choosing a journal that has zero embargo policy already, or what funders are now doing, what Plan S funders are doing, is they're changing their grant conditions so that researchers actually have the legal right to make their author accepted manuscript openly available at the point of publication legally. So that there is a way of doing green open access even if the journal policy says no zero embargo. Even if a journal doesn't have a zero embargo policy, you'll be able to do that. This affects Wellcome Trust and the UKRI, and the new policies will come into force in January 2021. There's a dedicated Plan S session which covers much more Plan S and compliance and what you need to do to comply. So if you are affected by this new initiative, I would recommend going on the Plan S webinar. We also have a Plan S webpage as well that has all the current information for you to be updated with. So it's just to flag it, just in case you haven't heard about it before. So back to your research and the during phase. It's really important to write clear and concise titles for your manuscripts. So an effective title should present the main topics of the study and highlight the nature of the research. Aim to be concise and use inclusive language to increase engagement. So I've got an example title. It's rather long-winded. Does vaccinating children and adolescents with inactivated influenza virus, and you take a deep breath there, inhibit the spread of influenza in unimmunized residents of rural communities. So that's a very long title. It's got too many additional words that you don't really need all those words. It's just a bit too much. So it's much better to try and get your title to be as concise as possible, and any additional words that aren't needed to basically just do away with. So here's an example of a more effective title. Effective child influenza vaccination on infection rates in rural communities, a randomized trial. So this title is short and easier to understand, and it's just highlighting and conveying the aspects of the research. So it's the key details of the research, just saying what it is, and it's a type of research it is as well, a randomized trial. If you're doing a sort of specialist type of research, it might be worth putting the type of research it is. So it's best to avoid catchy titles like "Mum's the word for pregnancy." So if someone's searching the internet or database for your article, and the searcher hasn't put mum in the title search because they're thinking, okay, I need papers about pregnancy, then that paper won't be retrieved. So it's basically working on SEO, on the way databases work. So you have to think carefully about sort of using specific words to convey the research in the terminology that is most known. So always have the search engines and databases in mind when you're writing your articles, and you're assigning keywords to your articles and coming up with really thoughtful titles, because the search engines and the databases are there to really can be used to really maximize your visibility, and if you haven't quite got the right keywords or the right title, it can really affect the way your article's being retrieved by these systems. Think about your references as well. So try and use current and relevant references in your area. So it's really important to cite the prominent work in your area, and also with citations, you when you cite somebody, you become part of that ecosystem, so you can see who cited whom. So it's a really good way of obviously making your scholarly record accurate, but also you are linked with the ecosystem of the relevant research via citations, because when you've probably noticed yourself when you click on a paper and you can click on the citations, and it links you to other researchers, other citations and forward citations and backward citations. So it's a really interesting ecosystem, and it's really important to make sure you do cite all your references in your area, not only for your scholarly record and you know, showing all the work that you've done, but also just making sure you're part of that citation ecosystem. So you could also use reference management software such as EndNote. So we support EndNote here at the university. We have EndNote guidance on the web pages, on the library web pages, and also we have a EndNote webinar as well. So please do come along. So it's really important to keep your name and affiliation consistent during all your career. So avoid using one name in one paper and a different variation of it in another paper. So there's lots of examples. Here's a sort of example that we see quite often where people will, you know, shorten their name. So Elizabeth Jones in one paper, or Liz Jones in another, or LM Jones in another. So it's fine, whatever variation of your name you want to use, like whether you just want to use your initials and your surname or your full name, but just decide upon it and just stick with it. So your ORCID will also give you a permanent identifier, and that will also help with this. But it's really important just to keep your name consistent. So also it's important to use the proper name of the University of Leeds. So we've seen a lot of papers where people have abbreviated the University of Leeds, like Uni of Leeds, or called it Leeds University, or just cited the school, like School of Medicine at Leeds. So it's not really the right way of doing it, and it's not just being pedantic. What it affects is the way visibility and again databases work and search engines work, because they're going to be searching the University of Leeds. So unfortunately, lots of research will get missed that isn't cited properly as the right institutional name. So be consistent with your main institution as well when you submit your paper, and maintain your online identity accordingly. So obviously researchers can move around jobs a lot and move around institutions a lot, and it's just important that when you do, if you do you know, move jobs or institution, just to update your institution on your online profiles, just to keep it all up to date. So we're at the after phase now of the research life cycle. So deposit your accepted manuscripts wherever possible, share your conference slides, and deposit your research data in accordance with funder compliance. You can consider publishing in data journals and disseminate your outputs through social media. So here at the university, I'm sure a lot of you are aware of the White Rose Research Online repository. So we deposit our author accepted manuscripts in Symplectic, and they will be made open access via our repository. So the library will check the journal policies for any embargoes, and check everything, check all the data is correct and the metadata. Then when it's possible, your research will be made openly available in the repository for all to see. So this really helps to increase visibility. Share your conference slides. So there's some great slide sharing websites. For example, Figshare and SlideShare, they're another great way of getting your conference slides out there, which can be another real valuable research output in their own right. And deposit your research data. So we have, as well as the White Rose Research Online repository, for articles. We also have the Research Data Leads, which is our data repository. So we have a research, I think Barbara mentioned before, we have a research data management team here in the library that can help you go about looking after your data in order to make it available. So do get in touch if you have any questions. You can also consider publishing in data journals. So the University of Edinburgh maintains a list of data journals and their policies, so you can check that out. Disseminate your research outputs on social media and update your online research profiles. So again, just it's really great to use you know, social media and research platforms, but just keep all your profiles up to date, and you know, your university that you're affiliated up to date, and your names as well. So just going back to data, so I think just like with the whole COVID situation, we've really sort of seen the importance of researchers actually, you know, sharing data to be able to access data. You know, what they're doing, like with the vaccines and all the data at the moment is really phenomenal, and it just kind of shows, you know, the importance of actually having access to data, because it really helps to increase transparency, but also helps other researchers to build on research. So it can also help save you time when you're writing up your research, and it reduces the risk of data loss. And for visibility, you know, there's studies that prove underlying data. So articles that have underlying data are cited 25% more often than those that don't. So there's the real significant citation advantage of linking publications to research data. So again, yeah, for help, do contact the research management team with anything to do with data. So we've got further support here. There's various different research data management courses that you can go on. There's EndNote training and different open access training as well. We've also got a Where to Publish session that Barbara mentioned earlier, which goes into using the tools more to identify suitable places to publish. So if there are any questions at all about today's session, or about any other aspects of your research that you might need some support with, please do let us know. We'll stick around as well for a couple of minutes if anyone's got any questions now, but as you go on, please do contact us if there's any questions at all.